Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It is February 9th, 2026. It's already February 9th, 2026. Time is flying by. February 9th, 1964 is the day the Beatles first played live on television in America. Big day. My dad and my uncle told me that they were watching in Las Vegas, New Mexico, and it was snowing. It was a Sunday night, February 9th, 1964. I want to hold your hand. I want to hold your hand. I want to hold your hand. All right, it's 5:46 p.m. The sun just set a little while ago, and I'm here in Albuquerque. It's 5:46 p.m. That means it's about almost 8 o'clock on the East Coast. But let's see. Usually I tell you guys about the sunrise and sunset, but right now I'm more interested in the moon. So the moon's going to rise tonight, well, technically early tomorrow morning at 1:52 a.m. and it'll be out all night. It's not going to set till 11:31 the next morning. So starting tonight at 1:52 a.m., yeah, if you guys are awake, take a look at the moon. Look at what it's been doing lately. It's been doing some pretty strange things. But let's see. Pushing Buttons is here. Good to see you, man. All right. Thanks, man. Cool. Good to see you, dude. I might as well start the show. Let's look at some news stories, see what's going on in this world, and take everything with a grain of salt because they fake a lot of the news these days. If you're new to this channel, that's something we talk a lot about. So let's take a look at this one. This is this is from NBC News.
At nearly 6 feet tall, the newest police recruit on patrol in the city of Wuhu commands attention, less because of the uniform than the 6 high-definition cameras and advanced sensors under that hat that allow the AI-powered robot called R001 to manage the flow of traffic and people in the streets and around the clock. It looks just like a real person at first sight, says this pedestrian. Real-life robocops like this have been rolled out in other Chinese cities too, including Chengdu, Hangzhou, and Shanghai. One of the police instructors says the robots work alongside human traffic officers, or they can tap into the traffic lights to work solo. The robocops aren't designed to be particularly fast or fearsome, but they are a key part of a wider strategy here to show off China's advances in robotics and to make machines more familiar to the humans whose lives they'll soon be transforming. Chinese robots have moved quickly from factory floors to daily life since 2015, when China's government declared robotics an industry to dominate. It has scaled up to produce 595,000 industrial robots and 13.5 million service robots in the first 3 quarters of last year. Morgan Stanley predicts China's robotics market will hit $108 billion by 2028. There are now more than 150 companies making humanoids.
So how long have you worked here?
We went inside one of the leading firms called Unitree last year and met G1 EDU. The robotics industry is backed by state funding, a lot of it, as well as venture capital. China's supply chain and talent pool help too.
Describe the pace at which robots and humanoids are evolving here.
Once it will work, it will go very fast. I think the unsolved problem at the moment is really still the brains. You don't want to have a robot that
Okay, that's enough of that one. Yeah, robot people, robocops in China. I have a few things to say about this. If they did that in the States, you know what would happen. You know that the youth in the city would smash these robots. They would knock them down, destroy them, kidnap them. And the other thing is that's funny about this news story is look at the way they show robots. Look at the way they show robots. They look completely like old 1960s TV show robots. Maybe a little 80s, more 80s than 60s. But my point is, they can make robots that look and talk just like humans. Okay, and if you don't believe me, do some research on masks and the technology that the making of masks has gotten to. The CIA uses masks, just like in the movies. You put a mask on and it looks just like a regular, it looks like flesh. And as far as the voice, you could make it sound human. How many times have you seen a video on YouTube and you can't tell if it's AI voice or a human narrator? It's getting harder to tell. So it's a psyop, so to speak. It's a psyop that they're showing us these 1960s, 1980s robots when they could make them look just like humans. But of course, that would raise some eyebrows, wouldn't it? Yeah. Let's go to the next story. See what else is going on. Oh, here's some footage from Call for Zero's channel. Some footage from Call for Zero's channel. This guy takes forever getting ready. Let's move ahead. Look at that, you guys. Look at that. Should I? Should I? Of course you should. You went to all that trouble already. Jeez. Look at that. Yep. Yep. Have the black coffee waiting on the bottom of the hill. You know, when you go through life and go through the everyday and you run into people that are acting so strange and they say the strangest things and it really makes you wonder what's going on. And a lot of people call these people NPCs. You know, sometimes I've thought maybe they're robot people. It's complicated. It's layered. I try not to just kind of sweep it all in one statement and call them all NPCs, because that feels like judgment, right? But I have to confess, I've wondered before, like, what's going on with people? Are some people not really human? Are they robot people? Here's a landing. Oh no, commercials. Hope you're all doing well. Hope everything's cool.
Employees at a Sterling Heights Wendy's are cold on the clock, and it's not the Frosties giving them the chills. They say that they've been working for years at the restaurant on 18 Mile and Ryan with no heat, and they turned to us to get their story out. 7 News Detroit reporter Carly Petras took the concerns of a worker and her mom, who reached out to us directly and to the franchise owner to get answers.
I'm here in Sterling Heights, and while it's cold out here, it may not be much warmer inside this Wendy's. Employees tell me they've been wearing layers to try to stay warm at work.
Every time I come in here, I always have my hoodie on. I got a shirt on underneath, my work shirt. I always wear my coat, gloves if I have it.
Dressed for the outdoors, but Alexis Martin works indoors as an employee at this Wendy's.
Us not having no heat in there, opening the window nonstop, it's been like really cold. We can see our breath in the bathroom.
Martin says it hasn't been a few days, a few weeks, or even a few months. It's been a few years since the heat at the Wendy's off Ryan Road was last on.
The last 2 or 3 years, we've had no heat in there whatsoever.
She says complaints have been made to the owners of the franchise several times.
Stuff has been said multiple times throughout the years and nothing has been done.
And Martin says it's not just employees noticing the cold.
People complain about it all the time, asking what we can do about it and whatnot.
Her mother, Angel Martin, reaching out to 7 News Detroit for help.
Why did you do that?
Because, you know, my daughter works here. I know a lot of the people that work here from me working here in the past, and it's not fair to people that are trying to survive and make a living.
This concerned mother says it's also a safety issue.
I don't want her to get frostbite. You know, I know the temperatures have been crazy lately, and you know, I worried about her all the last couple weeks working.
We reached out to Wendy's corporate about the issue, and a spokesperson says ensuring a safe and comfortable work environment for our team members and guests is our highest priority. We are aware he is partially working at this restaurant, and our teams have been on site.
Talk about a
That's just like this this world that we live in. These people working at the Wendy's, they could see their breath in the bathroom because the franchise owner doesn't want to turn on the heat. You see how selfish people are? You know, landlords, landladies, and owners of businesses. They don't even want to pay for the heat for their employees. And I've worked in sketchy bars before where it's like that. You can see condensation on the sink faucets and you can see your breath in the bathroom. But in Wendy's, man, and you're employing young people and people of the community, and you don't even want to turn on the heat, man, shame on you. And this footage that we're looking at right now looks like, oh, she made it. It looks like the best job in the world for somebody of that age, like late teens, early 20s. Look, ow. It's to do with the mail. These like people who live. You see, she's running for the mailbox there. And then you drop the mail in, pick it up, run back. And it's, they're all hired, she says. Let's see what's next. I want to address something Push just said in the chat. Okay, we'll get to this in a minute. Okay, for those of you listening, Push says, I've been wondering if this is the timeline where we have our souls, and in other timelines, we are the NPCs, where the NPCs have their soul timelines. I really think that's what it is, Bush. I really think that's what it is, people. I really do. I really do. Modern research has shown that this world is physically different for different people. And the research I'm referring to is the Mandela effect. If you don't know what that is, the Mandela effect is basically when history changes. It could be a small trivial thing. It could be a gigantic thing, but it's when history changes. And of course, that should be impossible. All right. Another proof is angles of the sun, where the sun seems to be, it's not, you can't triangulate the sun. So, it's been proven that the sun is not what they taught us it is, a flaming ball in a vacuum of outer space. It can't possibly be that. So a lot of people who reject the outer space and globe Earth model of reality they think that the sun is small and local, but in fact, it can't be triangulated. Everybody has their own sun. Everybody has their own Mandela effects, or when the Mandela effect hit. This world seems to be based on the individual, and really what it comes down to is an individual's relationship with God. And for the individual to sort of realize that this world that we're living in, this material world, there's something wrong with it. There's something amiss, big time. So, yeah. So that means that yeah, like Bush said, that means that for me right now, I'm the individual. I'm the only thing that's real in this world. And all the people around me, including you guys, are NPCs. That means for you, on an individual level, for you, you're the only person that's real. You're the only thing that's real in this world. And all the people around you, including me, are NPCs. So maybe this parallel Earths idea is not so far out after all. Maybe there's as many parallel worlds as there are people. Okay. But whatever it is, this reality, it really does seem like the weirdness is ramping up. Strangeness in realities, glitches in reality, strangeness in the skies. It's very far out. It's very far out, and it does feel like it's ramping up to something. But then again, who knows? And on top of all that sort of outside the box stuff, the regular stuff of reality is getting weird and weirder and weirder. Going to the store is getting stranger. And so to reiterate, Bush says, and each person is their own main character. Yeah. Yep. All right, let's see what else is going on.
Itself, and it has led to possible death threats. To Memphis, a new debate is heating up online, this time about the snow itself, and it has led to possible death threats. Two Memphis City Council members, Pearl Walker and Yolanda Cooper Sutton, shared social media posts questioning whether the snow that fell across the city was real or possibly man-made. Well, the topic is trending on TikTok. The comments quickly took off online, drawing strong reactions as crews across Memphis were still dealing with icy roads, school closures, and cleanup from one of the city's more significant winter storms in recent years. Your news leader reached out to Councilwoman Pearl Eva Walker about her post.
I had a cousin to a chunk of the snow, and it was dissolving, but water was not dripping. And I commented that it looks different. But what Memphians need to understand is that I have a right to my opinion, and my opinion is not, my right to speak. It's bigger than the Constitution.
WREG also contacted Councilwoman Cooper Sutton. She says what was meant to be a lighthearted post shared with family and friends has now been blown out of proportion.
I'm doing super amazing, but my family here and I have gotten some threats on my life, my Facebook page. People are talking about they hope that I die and that I get over some snow. And no one has gone to my page and actually see the work that I'm doing, taking food.
All over some snow. All over some snow. And Yolanda Cooper Sutton is a councilwoman in Memphis, and all she did was make a lighthearted post to friends and family, mostly for intended for friends and family, saying, "Look at this strange snow. It doesn't seem real." Now she's getting death threats. That's the kind of opposition that free thinkers are up against. And she's confused. She's thinking, God, I'm only talking about snow. Why the, why the violent response? But anytime you research, just ask anybody that comes to this channel consistently. Anytime you do some real research in this world and you bring it up to people, what you discovered, they don't like it if it doesn't fit what they've been taught. And the response is hard and heavy. I've never had my life threatened for speaking the truth, but I have been on the receiving end of a lot of weirdness and rudeness and hostility just for expressing something like what she's expressing. But of course, I gave that up years ago. I don't bother trying to explain things like this to people. They don't listen, and in a worst case scenario, like with poor Miss Cooper Sutton here, a death threat? Are you kidding me? Just because she questioned what's going on with the snow that is melting, but water's not dripping? I'd say that she has every right to ask. That's strange, people. Snow melting, but not dripping water?
My senior citizen neighbors, making phone calls, praying, for our city. And I'm not sure what this is about or where this attack has come from, because it has been really ugly and mean.
Councilwoman Cooper Sutton says the challenges many of her neighbors.
She feeds homeless people. She does all these positive things for the community, but don't dare talk about the snow.
Neighbors and constituents are facing during the snow and ice recovery are far more important and urgent than any social media post about whether the snow is real.
John Deere has been a symbol of hardworking America for close.
Okay, look. John Deere and Skechers commercial.
Skechers. Two brands respected for their durability, capability, and value come together to create footwear for folks like you who demand rugged materials, innovative technology, and comfort features like Skechers' exclusive air-cooled memory foam to keep you working comfortably from sunup to sundown, because a hard day's work deserves the easy comfort of John Deere and Skechers. John.
So for those of you who have researched the Mandela effect, you know that John Deere right there, Deere, most people that I've talked to will remember it just being John Deere, Deer. 2 E's, not 3. Skechers, of course, had a T in it. And people remember that. Now there's no T in Skechers. And now the two are teaming up. And I want to thank Ryan for letting me know about this strange team up. What's next, people? Are they going to soundtrack these commercials with I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett? And for those of you not familiar with that Mandela effect, the lyrics of I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts have changed. When I was growing up, and that was my favorite song, and that was the first 45 I ever bought, and I loved that song, and I listened to it all the time, the opening lyric was, I saw him standing there by the record machine. But if you listen to it now, it's always been, I saw him dancing there by the record machine. So I don't know. I don't know if people think about the Mandela effect much. I understand it's gaining like a new audience, so to speak, on social media. People are discovering it right now. Yeah. And of course, I always like to talk about what's going on in the skies above Albuquerque. I always see craziness in the skies above Albuquerque. One of these days, I'm going to get a really good camera and film some of the things I see. But it's not even a big deal for me anymore when I see things over Albuquerque that are strange. Usually I'll see like an orb, and if I look at it with binoculars, it'll be doing weird things like this one orb looks just like a star to the naked eye. But when I look at it with binoculars, it has a rust-colored object attached to the perimeter. Really, you guys, really. And the object is much smaller than the orb itself. And from this object, which spins around the perimeter randomly, really, from this object, there's like a string, like it almost looks like fiber optics or a spider web. It's like white. You can only see it once in a while when it reflects from the sun. And at the end of this string, all I can see is once in a while this strange sparkle, like a flash. It's so strange. And that's just one example of the things I see all the time over Albuquerque. This is the crazy talk portion of the program. Mandela effect, stuff in the skies. But for the last few weeks, the last like 2 weeks, I haven't seen anything, which is unusual. Usually I see orbs on a daily basis. And I don't know about you, Push, if you're still here. If you've seen anything in the skies of Texas. He says, I've been getting blasted with chemtrails lately. That was happening here in Albuquerque like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I'm going to go to theonion.com and read some headlines. I'm not going to read the articles. Let's see if there's anything good here. Commentary. All I ever wanted is to be a musician and for music to be easy. Drunken Seahawks fans climbing Space Needle. Drunk man doesn't like the way Kuman logo looking at him. Local. There's a picture of a little kid on a slide. Kid figures he'll go down slide 35 more times, then call it a day. Unpopular kid having trouble fitting in at home. Report, guy just put $10 in jukebox. Local, family at restaurant reminds grandma what food she likes. Local, man gets into mess usually reserved for stars of the silent film era. And Rebecca's here. Hi, R. How are you? All bright and sunny. Let's see. Push says he saw an orb or two recently. And I haven't heard about this. Push says people in Mississippi and Louisiana are reporting a weird jolt inside their homes with no burning or anything at all afterward. Wow. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, for the first time, I heard explosions, unexplainable explosions nearby, and they're unmistakable. There's nothing else in the world that sounds like an explosion. And no, it wasn't fireworks or a gunfire. It was an explosion. Rebecca says she's in Alabama. She says, I promise it seems like our house is pulling apart. It could just be crappy construction, but I think we may be experiencing small quakes. Who knows what's going on? I didn't know that. Art, you grew up in Louisiana? And then Rebecca also says, we hear booms all the time. I don't think it's always the locals. Let's see. Oh, check this out, you guys. Did you see that? He hit her with a ball in the head. Boom. Watch what he does. This video is called Extreme Apology Goes Viral After Japanese Volleyball Star Accidentally Clips One of the Side Judges. Watch. Okay. Care to wager any explanations here, people? Did this guy have too much to drink?
Press captain.
Yeah.
Just look at the whole film.
That's scary. Every person on the floor in here. Something.
Maybe he's going to deliver to the boat, the ice boaters.
Could you imagine tour guys? This is a fucking
Guys, how crazy is this? I told you, this is important.
I've never seen this Mo. How long in 30? I've never. This is crazy.
Check that
And the
out.
ice boats,
It's just not.
the ice boats are acting like it's the ice boats are acting like it's nothing.
The ice boats make sense. They're skimming on the top of the
Yeah,
water.
yeah.
He's on a bicycle in a river.
That's incredible.
He does not have a wetsuit on. He's an idiot.
Did you guys
In
hear?
early February 2026, residents of St. Petersburg shared images.
You guys listen to this. We're not going to watch this whole thing, but let's watch a couple minutes. 4 moons spotted over Russia.
In early February 2026, Residents of St. Petersburg shared images of an unusual night sky where the moon appeared to have multiple bright companions. The site spread quickly online, with many describing it as 4 moons, visible at once. While the display looked extraordinary, it was not an astronomical event involving the moon itself. Instead, it was a rare atmospheric optical phenomenon known as a paraselene, or mock moon. In this video,
Yes, a paraselene, of course. A paraselene, says the NASA Space News channel. This channel is called NASA Space News.
we will explain what people actually saw, how this effect forms, and why it appeared so clearly over Russia. Let's get started. The phenomenon unfolded during a cold winter night over St. Petersburg, when observers noticed bright light features flanking the moon. Instead of the familiar single lunar disk, the sky appeared to contain additional glowing spots aligned horizontally at the same height as the moon. In several sightings, these light patches appeared vertically stretched, reinforcing.
Look at that, people. That's not a camera flare. This is what people were actually seeing with their naked eye. Naked
The
eyes.
impression that multiple lunar objects were present. Images and videos captured by residents showed a
Look at that. Look at that. You could see that with the naked eye. And NASA is acknowledging that they saw, people could see this with their naked eyes. And now they're explaining it with some hotshot, what I like to call science talk, which means gobbledygook.
consistent pattern, the real moon at the center with bright, symmetrical light features on both sides. The clarity and symmetry of the display made it especially striking, prompting many viewers to question whether what they were seeing could be explained by ordinary means. Public reaction reflected this uncertainty. Some suggested camera artifacts, lens reflections, or digital manipulation. Others speculated about satellites or unusual celestial alignments. What intensified the discussion was the fact that many witnesses reported seeing the effect clearly with the naked eye, not just through phone cameras. Within hours, astronomers and atmospheric scientists clarified that nothing unusual had happened to the moon itself.
Oh, that's good. Because I was thinking 4 moons equals something unusual, but fortunately I was wrong. Yeah, that's a pretty astounding news story, people. Okay, let's see what's happening in the chat. If I see an orb, it's usually early in the nighttime as of late. Huh, that's unusual. Usually I see them in the last hour of darkness before sunrise. But I'll be on the lookout. It does look like reflections or some kind of camera flare. But if you could see it with the naked eye, does that imply some kind of glass-like dome? I bet a lot of people would say it does. Sis is here. Hi, sis. Great to see you. And Bush is laughing because they showed those funny fake satellite images earlier. Quite laughable. Laughable stuff. Hope you're doing good, sis. And Saddlebum is here. Good to see you. Yeah, it's a mellow evening. It was pretty pretty nice today. Not a cloud in the sky in Albuquerque, and no trails either. R says, time is so off. I am exhausted in the middle of the day, not nap tired, and can't sleep at night. I'm sorry to hear that, R. I'm hearing a lot of people reporting that. Hang in there. Hang in there. And let's all of us who struggle with fatigue, let's try to find the strength to fight through the fatigue. Easier said than done. Yeah. Well, yeah, chilling out in the back, looking at birds. Yeah. And once again, you guys, let's see. I want to mention the moon. What's been going on with the moon, real quickly before we call it a night. The moon will rise late tonight, technically tomorrow morning, 1:52 a.m. So just think tonight around 2 a.m. If you're up, check out the moon. Look at what shape it's in. It should be in a waning crescent, and it's 45% full. So basically what I've been seeing, people, is the shadow, the shape of the moon, if you will, changing throughout its journey across the sky. I don't know, you guys. Has it always been that way for you? Please tell me if that's the case. I'd rather hear that. I'm genuinely confused about this, people. To me, if a moon had for example, let's say that you saw it in the early part of the evening and you saw it rising over the eastern horizon. And let's say around that time, it was a crescent moon lit up on the right. For me, it would always be that same shape throughout the entire night. But now we're seeing it move like in a 180-degree spin. So it starts out lit up on the right. It'll end up lit up on the bottom and then lit up on the left. So I don't even know if that's something that people have seen before. And as far as time being fast or slow, I'll tell you guys one thing I've noticed is that in real life, time is flying super fast. But when I think of YouTube stuff, that time does seem to be like kind of normal. Like, for example, when did Dose of Reality go off the air? The Brian Staveley show. Feels like a while back, right? It was probably a year and a half ago. And it feels like a year and a half ago. It feels like 2 years ago. But in real life, something that happened, say, 13 months ago, like 2 Christmases ago, right now it's February. Let's say like Christmas 2024 happened, and then Christmas 2025 just like seemed to happen 6 months later, 4 months later. It was the fastest year ever. And this year, 2026, will be even faster than 2025. Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. Rebecca says, agreed, Joe. The moon shouldn't change overnight. You guys have all seen those moon calendars, and every day has its own moon shape. And another thing, you guys, if a moon started out its journey with a crescent moon lit up on the right, and then later in the night it becomes a smiley face crescent, that means that we've seen smiley face crescent moons all our lives. And frequently all our lives. Well, how come most of us report that we haven't seen one ever until like 5 or 6 years ago? That's another thing. You guys really, the fabric of this reality seems to be coming apart. Like it doesn't, nothing about it says stability. It says instability. We're seeing the northern lights reach all the way down as far as Florida now. In Florida, in sunny, warm, tropical Florida, now we're seeing the northern lights in Florida and in New Mexico. The moon is acting different than it's ever acted before. Time is speeding up. There's craziness in the skies. You guys, this is all stuff that you can see with your own eyes. The Mandela effect, there's thousands of examples of that. These are things that you can see, people, with your own eyes and your own experiences. You don't need to look at the news to learn about this. Something weird is going on with reality. Something weird is going on with reality. And we also know that there's an evil in charge of the media and education, and they don't want to admit that something weird is going on. And when you tell them something weird is going on, they react like the way those people in Memphis reacted to that poor councilwoman just because she suggested that the snow looks strange. It looks different, and when it melts, it doesn't drip water. All she did was point that out, and she got death threats. So we're living in a weird world, people, where if you speak the truth, you're in a lot of trouble. Now, having said all that, this weird, crazy, deceptive world is nothing to be afraid of. The devil is nothing to be afraid of. And yes, the devil's in charge of the material weirdness. None of this is anything to be afraid of. You can still have your fun, enjoy your life, be close to God. Rebecca says, I can't believe that you are coming up on your 4 years, Joe. It seems like you were just telling us about your 2 years. Yeah, I know. February 22nd, people, I'll be 4 years sober from alcohol. That's exactly right, R. That's exactly right. And more people in the mainstream are noticing that something's off, and they're verbalizing it. So that's pretty cool. In fact, Rebecca sent me a cool link to a video that I saw recently about the strange things that people are noticing in the sky. The video was made by sort of normie, globy video makers, and their audience, I'm sure, believes that the Earth is shaped like a sphere, and they believe that outer space is real and all that. And here they were all pointing out what we're pointing out, the strangeness they're seeing in the skies. It's causing confusion with people, but more and more people are talking about the strangeness. And Moneybags 73 is an excellent channel for anyone researching the Mandela effect. If you're new to Mandela effect research, Moneybags 73 is a great resource, a great channel. He had a conversation with AI just the other day, and AI was talking about the Mandela effect like it was no big deal. So we kind of got what we wanted. We wanted people. A few years ago, when I was obsessed with the Mandela effect, I wanted more and more people to look at it and question reality and understand that reality is changing. It's either changing us around us, or maybe we're shifting from parallel Earth to parallel Earth. Who knows? Who knows? Thanks, you guys. No cravings whatsoever. Everything's cool. And Woo Riders is here. Right on. He says, hello, Joe. Hope you and the family are doing great. God bless to all. Thank you. Same to you and your family. Yeah, I saw family yesterday. We all watched the boring Super Bowl together. And at halftime, I went outside, hung out in the back room, as I do every halftime. I haven't seen a halftime show performance since McCartney or Springsteen or Oh. All right, you guys. I am going to call it a night. It's great to see all of you. I want to come at you more often. And like I said, if you're struggling with fatigue, like I do often, try to fight through it. Fight through the fatigue. Get some things done. Yeah? All right, people. I'm going to play some music for a couple minutes and then and hit the button. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of you, not just people in chat, but people who come and watch it later. Have great times, you guys. Have fun, and don't forget to watch your comedies. Oh, I've got all kinds of unsolicited advice tonight. Good night, everyone. Good night, everyone. Great to see you, sis.